three-quarter time review. Here we are. I got me mate Blake Maitland from Moto Rundown, and we're going to do a bit of bench racing about the Super season at the three-quarter mark. How are you, dude?
I'm good, Steve. Just the cold mornings have arrived and trying not to get sick at the moment.
It sucks, doesn't it, man? Yeah.
Mm.
Obviously, as you know, most of my listeners are in the Northern Hemisphere. And I've had mates up there telling me about how it's good that the days are getting longer and it's getting warmer, and we're going the fucking opposite, man. It sucks, doesn't it? But anyway, you can't change that, can you? You definitely can't change. There's a few things in life you can't change, and the weather is definitely one of them.
Frost on the car windows in the morning is definitely an inconvenience, but
Yeah,
yeah,
man. We won't get frost for another probably 5 or 6 weeks. So yeah,
lucky
but
bastards.
Kiwis, it's a bit colder still there, isn't it?
hmm
Yeah, man. Yeah, cool. Let's get into it, hey. So since our last one of these reviews, that was just after Daytona. We've had 4 rounds since then. So we've had Birmingham, Indy, Seattle, and St. Louis, and there's some pretty good talking points over each of them, and some pretty interesting things as far as the whole season goes through them. So, man, let's just talk a bit about Birmingham for a start. So, I think Birmingham, we were probably of the mind after Jet won that. It was like, oh shit, like this is gonna get predictable. It's gonna get boring. We even thought that after Daytona. We said that in the last show, I think. And so yeah, but obviously things have changed since then, haven't they? You know, he's made a few mistakes. He's had some bad luck that wasn't his fault at all, and that sort of thing, which we'll get into. And then also too, Tom Vial won again at Birmingham, sort of really stamped himself as a fair income contender for the East, man. So that was pretty interesting. Probably the funniest, biggest talking point. Well, I thought it was funny. The biggest talking point was Deegan's behaviour at Birmingham.
Oh,
there's a
mate.
there's a there's a there's a lot of time we could spend on that, but man, like throwing Seth's bike, ranting and raving at the PC truck. The best bit of the whole lot, man, was Seth's mum shooing him away. That was just Seth's mum was the MVP of Birmingham for me. I reckon that was fantastic. And
Oh, mad respect her. The funny
yeah,
thing is, my mum's similar to that, so I can
she
get,
just
I
shooting
can get,
away as well. Yeah, I
oh
love it. I
yeah,
reckon
I can get behind it.
it's so cool. You know, it reminds you of being a kid and seeing like a mum jump in and break up a fight or something. It's like
Yeah,
everyone respects a mum. Like it's just like back the fuck off. This is someone's mum. Like, you know, don't
especially
mess with
like
mum.
those
Yeah.
mini mums, especially. Oof.
Oh yeah, Moto mums is just like even that's even more intense than a mum. You know. So yeah, that was definitely the talking point of that, man. And the shittiest thing of the whole of Birmingham was Cody Shock getting punted on the last corner for eighth or seventh or whatever it was.
I don't know.
So yeah,
Although it took a misfortune for him to be turned into a hero a week
that's
later.
right. That's right, man. He was turned into a hero a week later, man. Before we move on to a week later, man, you got what else you got about Birmingham, man?
I'm just trying to reflect back on it. Are
Yeah.
you at the stage where I am, where a jet win doesn't excite you anymore?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. I was at I was at that probably by Birmingham. I was at that, and I was just sort of like, I mean, even as it goes far as back as even when Jet won A1, I was like, oh shit, is this it now? Like, like I keep saying, I want one of the old guys to win. Jet's going to win heaps. I want one of these old boys to get it done this year. But Yeah, even after A1, I was like, oh man, is that it? Like, and then there's been things happen, but then he sort of settled in. Daytona was a real statement. Then Birmingham, and then by then I was already like, yeah, I think this is just going to be the way forward now for the next several years or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
So it's I'm way more excited when there's a battle, when someone else wins. It sort of gives us hope that there's going to be more battles, I guess.
Oh,
Like,
definitely.
because it's very I struggle to remember a race that Jet has won in 450s. I don't think there's a race he's won in 450s where it was a fight to the end. They've all been runaways, haven't they? Or am I forgetting one? They've all been boring wins. He's just
Yeah.
cleared out from the front
Like
and just dominated.
the closest thing I can think of is I don't really count as much of those things. I don't really count Roxon's win at Chicago, but yeah, the only one I feel like he had some form of urgency to get going was maybe High Point.
Yeah.
Other than that, yeah, it hasn't been the most exciting of wins.
His wins aren't that exciting, aren't they? And I mean, Jeremy was like that. You're too young to remember, but I bet you watch heaps of replays. Jeremy,
Yeah.
it's very Jeremy. He just get out the front and just go and just manage.
Well,
And you're just gone,
I must
So
say though, like when I watch, it's different rewatching old races, even if they were boring, because I never, I never lived it, so it doesn't
yes,
have that awe around it.
yeah. See, I even for me, man, like because I only got the news of Jeremy in magazines, man. I couldn't watch
Mm.
that shit. There was nowhere you couldn't even buy the VHSs or anything here. Like if you were very, very lucky, you might go to a big dealership that had a VHS playing on the wall. Had a video playing on the wall of a Supercross. That's
Yeah,
maybe once a year you'd see a little glimpse. You wouldn't see it, man. So
yeah,
I there's still 80s and 90s races. I still find ones that I never saw and get to watch them for the first time still, So
okay,
even early 2000s ones, there's, because we couldn't watch it, like by I remember definitely Chad's era, if you had the premium pay TV, as we used to call it, or that, so basically for US listeners, that was what we called cable pay TV. If you had like the premium setup with all the, I think, ESPN and everything, you could watch the Supercross main events. I think just the mains, because I remember a mate of mine would go to his rich mate's house who had cable to watch Chad, and then he'd tell me about the race and that sort of thing. But that was, and unless you had a rich friend, it was like rich people had that. It's like
yeah,
if you had a rich friend, like no normal people could afford to have that TV back then. So
yeah,
you just couldn't
yes.
watch it. It was just magazines, man. So, but
I pretty much learned a bunch of riders through PS2 games. So
oh
I
yeah,
had,
yeah,
I had Jeremy McGrath's Supercross World.
yeah,
So it's like I want to say it's like a 98 and 99 game.
yeah.
And then like MX Race ATV Unleashed and Untamed. And then outside of that, at school in the library, there's always a motocross book.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I always, when we used to have to rent books out, I just get that one every time because it
Every
had
single one. Yeah,
it, and it was like Stewart and Reed mostly, and a bit of
Mm,
Carmichael, maybe like a Villiman or McGrath in there.
yeah.
And it would have been when Dungy was 62 on an RMZ 250.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
That's the era that book was.
yeah.
That's pretty much all I knew, probably up until I had access to YouTube at like what probably when I was around 11 or 12 years old, so 2012, 2013.
Yeah.
But
You
yeah, I don't
laugh,
know.
man. You wouldn't remember dial-up internet. So
Oh God, no.
I can't even. Anyone that's experienced it, you have to have experienced it to understand how bad it was and how slow it was and how frustrating it was. We got our very first PC. I'm just trying. When you're a dad, you calculate events on your kids' ages, So I'm just working it back from how old my young bloke was. Well, he was a baby, so it's 21 years ago. Yeah. So we got our first PC, the big box, the big white box monitor and all that, fucking
we had
huge
one
hard
as well.
drive, all that, and we got the dial-up internet through whoever, and the very first thing I look up is Supercross, and there was 2 sites I could find, only 2. It was 2, right?
Oh, wow.
So there was supercross.com, which RJ, I don't know if RJ started that or he wrote for it or he was involved in it. And it would have like still pictures and an RJ story and a couple of little reports. It was so like, but that was fucking amazing, man. It was like, fuck, look at this. This is so cool. But if the dial-up was having a bad day, man, you could punch that in the whatever it was, www.supercross and all this stuff. Yeah, all that, man. You could go out of the room for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and come back in, and it'd still be buffering and loading that one page.
Oh, jeez.
That's and then so if the dial-up was busy or it was having a bad day, man, sometimes you just couldn't get it at all, And the only other site was Mathis's site, which was, I think it was already called Pulp. I think it was called Pulp MX, and it was just like
Or was it the one he had before Pulp?
No, I think it was called Pulp by then, but it was or it might have been something else before that, yeah. And it had a lot like Canadian stuff and all that sort of thing, and American stuff and that sort of thing, and that was your 2 choices. So you'd look up Suzuki's and Hondas and all the brands. You could look up their websites and look at pictures of the new bikes and all that. That was exciting, That's sort of, there might be a little story there might be a little story on Chad on the Yamaha Australia site or something like that. It's like you get to read that and see. Yeah, so yeah, old times, man. Yeah. Anyway, we better get back on track, eh? You get me talking about old stuff, man, and I would never stop. I would never stop. So yeah, man. So Birmingham, yeah. So basically, yeah. Coop with the second, your man Kenny with the third, and then Tom. And although at Birmingham, the thing with Tom was, the Birmingham the easy whoops or the no whoops?
No, the no whoops.
The no whoops.
They built the team track. No whoops, no Supercross triple.
Yeah, so that was the thing on Tom, because he won Daytona and then he won Birmingham, and it was like, yeah, let's see him in the whoops. So and then Cam was second, Seth was third, which shocked me when I looked up just the results before, even though it's only a month ago. That he obviously came back to third after the Deegan incident. So yeah,
you go through the vault and Seth's podium records and
it is, isn't it?
And Supercross more so is surprisingly good. He hasn't got one outdoors, but indoors it's pretty good.
Yeah, yep. And but yeah, the story of that week was definitely Deegs and Seth's mum and Cody Shock getting punted and having his cracked collarbone broken in the last corner, which brings us on to Indy, man. So Indy, and Cody Shock's back with a plated collarbone, and I think I wrote down he ended up what did he end up with? He ended up like, was it fifth? I think I haven't written it down, but I think he ended up fifth at Indy with a plated collarbone. So
the Triple Crown, wasn't it?
Yeah, so that was a Triple Crown, and I think in the wash with the 3 scores, he ended up fifth. So and he was remember from that week he was doing who's the super doctor? Doc G, is that it?
Dr. G
had him doing push-ups like an hour after surgery or something like that. That's
unreal.
The Indy Triple Crown, man, Jet goes 1-1-1. And after that, everyone's just like, pack this up, like shut the door. This is not like people are talking about him winning out, and that didn't even seem unlikely. That was like, he fucking probably will, like
seemed
like,
more likely than unlikely.
It really did, because the Triple Crown was probably, well, not the last, but I'd say the second last thing that he needed to tick off to say, because it had been a bit of he'd had a few struggles with Triple Crown, and then he just goes 1-1-1, and fuck. Really, the only thing he hasn't ticked off now is winning a fair dinkum mutter. So that's probably the one thing where the others can still hang their hat on, and I think we've only got like I don't think have we got any roofed stadiums left? No,
all open.
All open, and that's including like East Rutherford and Philly. We're going to Philly, aren't we?
Yep, and Boston next round as well.
Yeah, which we are up, up in the part of the states where they probably get more rain, I guess. I mean, the Californian ones were bad luck, man. Like, because Cali's probably got some of the best weather in the world, and that's just one of those things,
Well, you mentioned Philly, can't teach you old history knowledge.
Yeah, man.
So we had 2 Philly Supercrosses in history. Only one person's won them.
Oh, dude. Nah, I couldn't tell
Yamaha?
you. I'm how far back are we going for that? Give me a
early
decade.
80s. Early 80s. I think it was 80.
Oh, early 80s. Jeez,
early to mid 80s and around there.
Is it that long ago? Wow. Okay, so if it's early 80s, I'm probably going to go with RJ.
Nope.
No, and it was a Yamaha, early 80s Yamaha.
Mm-hmm.
So RJ, if not RJ, then Glover.
Yep.
Yeah.
Brock Glover's won both of them. So Yamaha's undefeated in Philly.
There you go. Hey, that's a good sign for Eli and Coop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Jeez, it's that long ago. Wow.
Yep. They had back
nice,
they had 2 rounds in 1980.
Yeah,
oh, no, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Glover's won one. Mike Bell won the other.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So both Yamahas. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So Mike Bell would have won in. Bell would have won in 80.
They were both in 80.
Oh, they had 2 there in 80. Yeah.
I've got the top 5 on my phone, just so my
yeah, man. Let it rip.
Infinite notes. Mike Bell, Jim Gibson, Steve Wise, Mark Barnett, Brock Glover for the first one.
Yeah.
Second one, Brock Glover, Ken Howerton, Mike Bell, Marty Tripes, Steve Wise.
Nice. Cool, man. Nice one.
So, only ever been a Yamaha, Honda, and Suzuki on the podium.
Yeah.
Which
yeah, well, there was.
I can't see that changing in any ways.
Not much. Not much chance of Austrian bikes getting on the podium in the 80s, man. That was
not even a Cowie in the top 5.
There's a few of them about, yeah. Well, man, see, like in like 1980, Cowie hadn't even come on strong yet, man. Like it was really, I mean,
What years were Wardy coming on?
like Wardy was probably not even on a Cowie yet then. So yeah, like, so Wardy won Supercross in '85 and '87. And he was very good on the Cowie 125 beforehand, but that was only outdoors because there was no 125 Supercross.
Mm.
So yeah, but sort of, I guess, yes. So probably from that sort of '85 through to I think Wardy was definitely around in '91, maybe a little bit in '92 even. So yeah, but really before Wardy there was they didn't win much at all really, so they'd win bits and pieces here and there, like David Bailey was on Kelly at one stage before he got picked up by Honda, and you go way back into the 70s and like Brad Lucky was winning things on Cowies, and probably the biggest Cowie star early days in the 70s and early 80s was Jim Weinart.
Was he the one that ran the full pedalettes?
Yes, man.
His
nickname was the Jammer, and he won a full paddle like the dudes running out in the sand dunes at Glamis. He ran one of them, and they got banned afterwards. So there's a really good old photo of it, which I'm sure you've seen. Yeah. Where he's sort of airborne, and you can like just see the paddle just throwing shit. Yeah, but he actually ran one of them once. Yeah, the Jammer. So he was probably Cowie's. He would have won races for Cowie, but as far as like you go back to those days, man, and like the Suzuki and like in like 1980, Suzuki and Yamaha were the bikes, and then a couple of years later, Honda hit their straps. And then they were the bikes for the next 20 years,
Yeah.
So, but 70s into very early 80s. Man, Yamaha and Suzuki,
yeah. It's interesting with Kawasaki is we think of them as a powerhouse brand, right?
Yeah.
But really, outside the USA, success is quite scattered for the brand.
Yeah.
Like in the world titles, like I get one here and there, but they were never really on par with Yamaha or Honda worldwide. Like I even looked up the other day, even in Aussie, the last moto win was an MX1 for a Cowie was 2016.
Who was that? Like Marmont? Was that when Marmont was there or something?
So last overall win was Matt Moss in 16. That was round one at Horsham. But the last moto win was and podium was Kyle Peters at Toowoomba.
Yeah.
That same year.
Yeah. So they never really had. I mean, for a little while when TC was when our man Stilly was one of the mechanics when TC. That's Troy Carroll, for those that don't know. When he was running the Cowie team there for a while in sort of early 2010s, and he got Marmont on the team, and
it was like
things were cranking up a bit then, like, but still not sort of. I don't know, what all happened there, but there was a fair bit of support for a bit there, but then. Yeah, Australia for a long time. It's always been about the red and the blue, man, isn't it? So, so the two big teams are the red and the blue. Yeah, cool, man. Your guy Kenny, he went 2-2-3 at the Triple Crown. Hey, and he was good, man. Too. He was good. He just wasn't. He was so good, man. But there was just someone better. Like if Jet decided to play basketball as a kid instead of race dirt bikes, we'd be raving about Kenny's races at that Triple Crown, man, because he looked good, man. Like, yeah, so it's just and he really he kept Jet real honest a few times there, which was and we always never really know. You can't tell how hard Jet's pushing, can you? You never really know.
That's the worst part.
you never really know. You see some things and it's just obscene, you know.
It's like
And
a
you just think,
Wyndham. No
yeah,
matter
just
what position he was, he always looked the same.
yeah, that's it. A bit like Wyndham too. You never really knew how hard K-Dub was pushing it either, did you? Yeah, very sort of, you know, not inconsistent, but I don't know, hard to read, I guess. Yeah,
Do you
yeah,
follow
man.
his training facility on Instagram?
I do, man. Not probably closely. I don't know. You know, you get your algorithms, things pop
Mm.
up more than others.
I always love seeing the videos. He'll just jump on someone's bike with his helmet
Yeah,
on, and he'll
yeah.
go through like a big whip or like nail a set of whips or something, and like dad New Balances or something.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah. I've seen him in
ridiculous.
in sneakers, shorts, and a flanny. Yeah, and yeah, he's one of my favorites. Yeah, I reckon. Me and K Dub would get along real well. Yeah.
Maybe a little too well.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, cool, man. But yeah, the MVP man of Indy was definitely Cody Shock.
I agree.
And we had so you know, but Cam won the 250s. He went 1, 2, 3. Tom backed it up with a solid result, but he did crash in the whoops. So that sort of
Yes.
everyone was judging that for sure. You know, I know I
Although,
was judging from the couch. You know,
yeah, I wasn't judging too harshly because he did change his lineup that one lap from where he
yeah,
was going,
yeah,
and it would happen to anyone swapping lines. Those routes were just clapped as like
yeah.
the chances of changing a line. You don't know. It could be slightly more narrow, more grabby, more chewed out. You just don't know.
Yeah. And then Deegs 216, and we had Nice Boy Deegs on the podium at
Well,
at
thank the
Indy.
Lord Christ.
Oh, we had Nice Boy. Yeah, he was. Instead of I can't remember what he said on. What did he say after Birmingham? He was I can't
Alpha
remember.
blood or something.
He's out for blood or something. And
Yeah.
then he was thanking the Lord
Welcome.
and all grateful and polite and like it was, you know, at
His podium interviews are as bipolar as Kanye West at this stage.
but it's entertaining, man. Like he's
Oh
entertaining.
yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's good for the sport, man. It's entertaining. Oh, like
Mm,
for I'll sometimes I'll just cringe, and his dad's like even worse,
yeah.
and I'll just cringe. But then, you know, sometimes I'll just laugh about it. You know, I don't take stuff too seriously.
Yeah.
But when
I
it's all
cringe
said
at
and
like
done, you
I
know,
cringe at like when Jordan Smith does an interview and he lists off the sponsors. And it's like, oh, come on, man. Thank the
yeah,
team, but like when you're getting deep into like 100%, Tour Escondido,
yeah,
I don't know,
we've
Walmart
come
for his
a
undies
fair
or
way, haven't
something.
we, man? We've come a fair way. Think back, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years ago. Nearly every podium speech was
Oh
just a
yeah,
sponsor. It was a sponsors list, wasn't
like
it?
my first moto
Done so
video we ever
bad.
had was Bar to Bar 2011,
Yeah,
and the 250s are always more like just race highlights rather than the full talk over documentary style.
yeah,
And you like Barsha and Hanny and Sipes just rattling all the sponsors off, and it's like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
that was the norm back then.
And you know, and like that whole sort of period of the Ryans, basically the Ryans and Eli, you know, because Eli was like that when he was younger. He's loosened up like
Hmm.
massively in the last few years, but when he was younger, and even when Ando was younger and all that, it'd be just like sponsors. Marv was the same. Yeah, all those guys, it was just
Marv
sponsors.
would just go on a tangent about how good his breakfast was or something.
Yeah.
Just
Marv
like
would
that.
go too long. Yeah. Who goes long? Is Anstey got Marv covered? I think Anstey's got Marv covered on the
It
long speech.
depends on the question. If you leave it sort of open ended, he'll just
Could be a
go
bit
on.
of recent. Could be
He'll
recency
compare it
bias.
to like some random GP in like Sweden or something like that. Oh, I remember that day.
But
He just goes on big
I
tangents,
don't
but
mind that, man. Like I'll take that over RV looking like someone just ran over his dog and he's just fucking he's just won a Supercross, you know.
yeah.
He's just got got $100,000 in his pocket, just won a Supercross, and he looks like someone just ran over his dog every
Even
week.
like from
Like,
memory,
so
like
I'll take Max's interviews. Yeah.
like even from memory, like Cole Seeley when he won Houston in 2015 was like still pretty staged as well, from
Yeah.
memory.
Yeah. I reckon who changed it? Who started changing it first, do you reckon? Who bucked that trend?
Oh.
Who can you think in the 450s who started just doing some different interviews and that? Because Coop was pretty bad early days. Coop was bad. He was just sponsors and didn't give you much.
Maybe a young Roxon, or
Yeah, Kenny's
maybe
different. Yeah. I think Kenny definitely upped the game in the on the podium speeches. Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I don't know. Dunge got a lot better towards the end, like heaps better. But yeah, I think probably Kenny. Yeah,
I'm sure there'll be people beforehand.
but that
Wyndham got pretty good near the end as well.
you think about it like now, like AP.
I know.
Hasn't happened this year, but Malcolm, AP, some of
I'd say
them
probably
isn't there. Like,
J-Law maybe early days was an outlier, but
yeah, that was like that.
or like Denny Stevenson's or something like that.
In a different way. Yeah. Oh man, see, because you go way back, man, and the podiums were fucking wild. Like
Like
the podiums were wild. Like there was not. They'd be throwing they'd be kissing the trophy girls and throwing the trophy girls on their shoulder and.
who was that? That 1 year he wanted to
Oh,
kiss the trophy chick, wasn't
they
old
used to.
enough.
No, they used to kiss the trophy chicks every race, the whole time. Like they'd just fucking into it.
Different era.
Like,
Could you imagine a modern day Ron Lachine?
yeah, or Ronnie would have done more than that. Ronnie would have took them all home. So yeah,
With a court case, there would have been a court case or something. He'd been in mainstream for something.
yeah. And there's like Bob. There's a pretty famous couple of ones. He did it more than once with Bob Hannah throwing the girl over his shoulder, and
I think that's
standing
what I
up
was
on the
thinking of.
podium.
Yeah,
He's got the girl over his shoulder and the trophy or the champagne in the other hand and that sort of thing. Like, yeah, like it was wild, and there was, they'd still thank their sponsors and all that sort of thing, but it was pretty wild and relaxed. And
the support back then was way more taboo.
yeah. And then things sort of got more professional, and especially when, like MC says, Ricky, they're all having fun, and then Ricky just fucked it all up. That's remember you've heard him say that. It's like we were all having such a good time, and then Ricky comes along, training like an animal, all serious, and then that's what everyone else had to do to beat him. And everyone got serious, So and it started to it's turned a bit, hasn't it? Where it's
I feel like Pastrana probably would have even thrived more had Ricky not got so serious.
Yeah.
Because he would have got the slot right and perfectly with the whole MC, MX style of everything. It's like, you train, but you still had that personality, you still had fun.
Yeah. Like Travis, like leaving to go just all freestyle is one of the things in the history of the sport where I just like, fuck, I wish he didn't do that. I mean, look, it's like it worked out good for him, man. that me as a fan and what I would have loved to have seen
Yeah.
is his talent was obscene, man. Like obscene. Like all the if he stuck right to it, like Ricky's got less titles, Chad's got less, and James has got less. That's I really believe that. You know, that's how good Travis was. But yeah, it you know, and yeah, it's just amazing, and it's sort of I don't know, like AC, like Travis never won a premier class race. It's just fucking like the odds of that were just there was no chance that like he was going to fucking win championships, you know, and that same as we sort of felt about AC, you know. And,
like even after his rookie year when he got he had 2 outdoor wins, like overalls. I was like, okay, this is gonna be good build, and then sort of went downhill for the worst. But you could pinpoint a time in any rider's career when you go, if this didn't happen, the sport looks different.
Travis's massive concussions is what sort of fucked him. But then the funny thing is, man, that's the big concussions derailed the motocross. He just got into something that's got just as bad a chance of getting concussions anyway. It's like,
oh, I know.
Doing backflips, man, you still get pretty good. You still got a good chance of getting concussions, but
he only has to trip over now and he's out.
Yeah. Cool, man. Let's move on to Seattle. So Seattle and Coop gets it done, and suddenly
I was bummed though.
But suddenly we're like, wow, like someone's after thinking Jet was like never going to lose again. You know? I mean, not really, but you know, we're all a bit emotional, like fucking this kid, like he's just going to keep winning, and then all of a sudden he doesn't win, and Coop gets it done. And that was a good race, man. That was a great race.
Like,
him and Chase to the end and all that. Like, wow, it's one of the closest finishes we've ever had, and that sort of thing. And it was Coop was in the other seat this time. He wasn't the hunter; he was the hunted, and he was struggling. Like you could see, he was struggling. You know, he was hanging on for dear life.
He had pump like morning wood. So.
That's it, man. That's it. That was definitely my favorite. Even the racing was great. Coop's comment on the podium was still my favorite thing of the whole weekend. Yeah. So that was great, man. Yeah.
No, it's probably my favorite race or battle, I should say, of the year. Obviously, my favorite race is Glendale with Kenny, of course, but
but I think Seattle. I mean, I can remember I was just after Seattle, I was just fucking pumped. This is like you know, I mean, I would always say it, but I'm just like, this is the fucking best sport in the world. Like, this is the fucking greatest thing ever. You know, I just have been really up and about to see that. You know, nothing better than a 450 battle in the main event, in a close race and that sort of thing. Like that's what we love, man. And then it was like, hang on, Jet's still human. You know, he's still human.
Yeah.
He's not an alien, you know. So breathe a little bit of life in, and then back west, man, Levi really stamped it. You know, I reckon from Seattle. That really stamped it. It's like he is the man in the West, which I never expected.
No, not at all.
I expected him to be like the third place guy behind the two old guys that he's in front of. So I expected it to be Smitty and RJ going at it, and Levi to be, you know, that sort of third place guy. Would not have surprised me for him to win a race or a couple even, but to be like he's looked dominant at times, man. Dominant.
Yeah, I was expecting to be in that second, third place behind RJ. especially how A1 went with how dominant RJ was.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, he's got this now. Which you
It should
can't look
be
too much into the opener, can you?
it should be RJ's time this year. It
Oh,
should be.
100%.
This is the one. The start of the year is like this. This should be RJ's title. This should be his time. So
Do you know what this is reminding me of? 2016 Martin Davalos on Rockstar Husky.
yeah,
It, it was looking good, and then a few things happened, and Malcolm got the best of him in the end. He got a couple of wins, podiums, and still didn't piece it together through dumb mistakes. Which
yeah, Marty had a bit of the loose aspect that RJ's got too. I guess
yeah,
there's a bit of a riding style match up there too. I guess.
there's a lot of similarities.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, cool,
I
man.
won't speak too much because we've got a couple of East-West showdowns. It's not
That's
over. He's only what? How many points is he behind? Like
Uh,
12?
it is 15.
15.
15
So that's
points. Yeah, Levi 156, RJ 141.
right.
So but I mean,
Not ideal, but with two showdowns, like still up in the air in my opinion.
you never know. You never know. Like his teammate Seth might fucking clean everyone out in the first quarter or something. No, that wasn't all Seth's fault anyway. That last one, but
No.
I'm only joking about that. But you never know, man. Yeah, East-West shootouts. Who's got the East-West shootouts? Levi. Like it just anything can happen, but just on form, on speed, who's got it?
On form and speed, you can't not put Levi at the top.
I think you have to, yeah.
Like McAdoo look good, but not Levi good.
Yeah.
Same as VL and Deegan.
Yeah.
Like, and then combine Hampshire, Shimoda, and Smitty. Like those other dudes, scramble them however you want in the top 5, but Levi I think is that step above.
Yeah. Triple Crowns too. Sometimes, as you know, 250 like that. I mean, two East-West showdowns, not Triple Crowns. East-West showdowns like that. You get someone coming out of the 250s that's just like wins that just you weren't even thinking in the picture. Like that would happen. Like, remember,
like Anstey last year.
Yeah, and I think Thrasher has done that. Thrasher's the sort of guy who'd come out and win it.
Yep, he won the final one, not last year, the year before.
Yeah, and
somewhere there.
Like Joe's finally got a couple of podiums. Things are starting to click, man. Joe,
yeah, I'm still not there on Joe though.
Oh, still not there. I'm not really either, but I want to be. I want to be there for Joe. Yeah, because he's my guy. But yeah, he's you never know. At least he's on the improve, man. If nothing else.
From how the year started, definitely.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Cool. And then on St. Louis, man. So I was so pumped for Eli, man. That's basically the story. Eli's the story that in a couple of ways. He's the story for winning it, and then he's also the story for finally saying in the press conference that he tweaked his ankle a few weeks ago, and he's been having all sorts of trouble with his ankle, and he can't weight the pegs properly, and everyone's like, "Oh, fuck, we would have liked to have known that." But
he's already got one gammy foot, then you add another one.
Yeah. But that is on brand. Sense. That's on brand for Eli to.
Oh, I know.
It's like, But no, that was good, man, and he looked good. Jet was the fastest guy out there, but shit happens, and Eli wins, man. As they say, the cash checks. the record books say Eli went 1-1-1. So, the drama story of the weekend is Flag Gate. Flag Gate, man.
Oh no.
What's your opinion, man? What's your opinion?
Let's see. I can look at it from many different angles. You're putting a flag on the inside of a jump where the main line is flare wide with ruts. You've got a white flag waving in front or a checkered flag.
Yeah.
That's the one you spy because it's moving.
Yep.
And then you got some garden gnome standing on the top of the jump, sticking it out, like, which also I don't think it should have been a medic's flag at all. Freezy's bike's laying up against some tough blocks. Like a caution yellow is all it needed to be.
Yeah. Yeah, man. My take: the flagging was shit. But they have to do the penalties as per.
Yeah.
You can't. And this is coming from me, who is like me and rules are like fucking oil and water, man. Like I am not a rules guy. Like I live my whole life in the fucking grey area, right? So black and white rules aren't for me. But in a sport, when you have a code of rules, especially when it comes to flag infringements in motorsport, you can't have any grey area. It's just
no.
you did it or you're not, So they had to do what they had to do, but it does it sucks for those guys because the flagging was absolutely shit, and hopefully the flagging, whoever's in charge of that just learns from it, I guess, to not
they should have though. I feel they should have sent someone to the corner.
To the corner, yeah. There should have been
an inch of the turn.
There should have been a red cross at the corner. Yep. Because where it was, like, man, no chance. Like I know Eli did see it. Some people did see it, but I mean,
the ones that saw it were the ones by themselves, though.
Yeah,
like
there's
AP and Anderson and Webb were all in that battle. I don't know. Yeah. Also, they could. I'm sure they could have walked out a bit further on the jump.
Yeah.
Like, hey, but he's standing behind the already waving flags.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Yeah.
But hard case though. Typical Anderson style, get stopped not once but twice.
Yeah. But the best bit, man, the bit that I was just fucking grinning like a Cheshire cat, man. Grinning like I'm fucking grinning right now thinking about it again. The fact that it was Vince. It was fucking Vince.
Dude.
Like, I couldn't believe it. Like, there's this fucking bike there, and then they said, or I realised it was fucking Vince. So he's not even fucking riding, man, and he's fucking.
And
it was fantastic, man. I love it.
90% of any issues this year in the 450 class, it's like linked to Vince somehow. Like, I'm sure the Baltimore Bridge collapsing is related to Vince somehow. Maybe he drove his car over it or something.
Yeah, it is fucking. It's so funny, man. Things like that, I get a funny thing about a person or a topic stuck in my head, man, and I just lose it for that it's an ongoing joke for like forever for me, and these Vince things, especially this year, man, it just it entertains me, man. I can't get enough of it. I don't want him to ever do anything that's going to hurt someone, but the drama and the funny things and all that, man, I can't get enough of it. And the way that he just doesn't give a fuck either.
He just shrugs it off.
He just doesn't give a fuck.
Which I think infuriates people even more.
Oh, it does, man. It's great, man. Like, I can't even think of anybody that's ever been like him, or even in other sports that's ever been. I think they broke the fucking mold. Like the things. Even what was even funny was he was even getting blamed for what Freckle did. They were
Oh no!
Ricky's saying Freezy caused that and all this sort of thing on the broadcast, and I'm like, dude, that was Freckle. But
Dude,
Freezy was right there. Freezy was right there, and then of course the T-bone incident. Well, if in a roundabout way, Vince caused that as well. So it's like,
I put partial blame of that on the track,
yeah,
and specifically where that inside picnic table thing is. The fact it was dragged so far away from the top of the corner, you're able to intersect people way harder and virtually have head-ons.
yeah,
If that was dragged 1 or 2 meters closer to the turn, Barsha would not have been able to go in on that angle. He would have been forced to go a bit straighter. Maybe he hits Jet still, but it'd be on the rear.
yeah,
Jet flops off. Jet gets squirmy, pulls out of it, or
yeah.
whatever.
That was brutal, man. That was
I
brutal.
for sure was thinking broken hand.
Yeah, I thought he was in big trouble. Like, and I was like, I felt just sick in the guts, man. Like, I had that feeling, that real stomach just dropped. Like, fuck this. You never want to see anyone hurt, and
Like out of all the times Jets made
leader
mistakes
and everything like that, it's the fucking last thing you want to see.
Mm.
And it was so violent, man. It was such a fucking full center, dead center, straight on T-bone. Like there was no angle to it at all.
Like,
And,
to be fair, like all of Jet's mistakes or whatever controversies this year, when they've happened to him, I go, ooh. I rub my hands. Like when he tipped over Sandal, I'm like, ooh. Yeah. But that one, I'm like, ooh.
Nah, that one, yeah. That's when Jet has a tip over, I was like, cool, this will make it more exciting,
for sure.
I'm all for that. But when but nah, shit like that was awful. And old Bam actually seemed pretty legitimately like really sorry and a bit shook up himself about it. So
I mean, he broke Tyler Bauer's leg and was not sorry about it.
Yeah,
so
it is.
The fact that sorry.
There is a bit of a new Bam though. There is a little bit of a new Bam. His record's
cracked up
clean the last couple of years. It's pretty clean. He's been
the last bad one I can think of is Barsha and Mookie at the final 2 years ago, where he just center punched Mookie and Mookie went catapulting off the side of his bike in that Saltwell Lake, I believe. But other than that, it hasn't been too bad.
It's been pretty good. I remember him saying there was a bit of a conscious effort for that, and he has been heaps better, man, heaps better.
Unless he's around Anderson.
Yeah, but that's a whole different thing because they're almost as bad as each other. So
adding fire to fire. I love though in his response video how he said it's not his style.
Yeah,
it's like your name's Bam.
Fuck, guys, like who proofread that? Did someone proofread it? It was so good. All you needed to do was get that fucking script and just cross out the "it's not my style" bit, and it was
for sure.
And then it was a perfect apology. That just like because I'm listening to it, I'm like, he looks really sorry, and it's good. He's owning up, and I was really positive. But then when he said it's not my style, I just started laughing because then it just sort of cheapened the whole apology a little bit for me. But I mean, it hasn't really been his style of late, I guess. But yeah, it's his nickname is Bam Bam. So like it's still got the nickname. You still got the reputation. Doesn't just go away that easy. So
no, I've just had a brainchild. Arena Cross Dash for Cash, Freezy versus 250 Bam versus Ando, Prime Ando.
So like your 1v1 that they do.
Yeah, they run at the Arena Cross, the Dash for Cash.
Those three. Ooh.
It could get hairy.
Starts count for a lot. Starts count for a
Mm-hmm.
lot.
But
So I can
Freezy
see
always races behind him.
Vince gets the start,
Mm-hmm.
but I reckon that out of Ando and Bam, I reckon Bam gets around Vince easier. Bam is
Especially 250 Bam.
Bam is all time probably the best takeout, like accurate takeout guy, where he can
Oh,
put
for
someone
sure.
on the ground with minimal effort, perfect execution, and hardly even fucking slow himself down. He's
Mm.
elite at that. So I can see him putting, Vince gets a start, Bam puts him down, but then you don't know. They're pretty quick races, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Endo's starts have been off, but then we're talking prime Endo, so yeah, I don't know.
Mm.
I think
When I think 250 Bam, I think of like 2011 between him and Dino,
yeah,
and there was like they were trading medal on medal every race,
yeah,
basically.
yeah. I think my money would be on Bam there,
Mm.
yeah. And also too, I think Arena Cross would really suit him as well. Whereas Ando,
Arena Cross or Abu Dhabi Supercross.
yeah, Ando, that very flowy style. Ando's
Mm.
not really a stop-start guy. I could see
But he can turn him on a dime
he can, but he's that sort of
if the corner allows for it. Like if it's real hard
being a bit more
turn.
flowy is sort of, peak Ando's been a bit more flowy, I reckon. Whereas Bam is point and shoot. It's like
Yeah.
hard on the brakes, hard on the throttle, like real Arena Cross. That said, man, there's probably I'd probably put some of the Arena Cross legends of the past. If you put them in there, they
Bowers.
still win. You put the Bear in there, man. You put Budman in there. You know,
Jacob
even
Hayes.
Jacob Hayes. You know, like, and some of these guys just fucking animals. You know, even someone like you go back to like Rusty Holland, who's like the infamous, probably the most psycho arena cross guy of all time, you know, with as far as takeouts and just fucking murdering people every fucking night, you know. There's some of those guys there. It's a different sport, man. Did you watch the arena cross finals, man?
I haven't been able to watch the finals yet, but
Yeah.
I have watched whatever I can on Instagram and
Yeah.
stuff. I'll
The
get around
finals,
to eventually.
yeah. I finally figured out how to watch it, and I got the app and all that sort of thing,
Yeah.
and the final wasn't super exciting, really, compared to some of the other rounds. It wasn't super
Mm.
awesome because Peters sort of had to manage a little bit, yeah. So
Yeah.
Brees couldn't do much.
Mm.
Couldn't do much,
Yeah. Arena
especially the way their
Cross.
point system works. So
Yeah. Arena Cross, I try to watch, but it's not ranked on my list. And I've got a big list I watch.
yeah, I know, man. Yeah, so because that, like, I love it. Like, I'm so glad I get to watch it, man. But like, as you know, like, I'm really US focused with what my love of the sport is really sort of based
Yeah.
on I like all the US stuff, and then everything else comes afterwards. Whereas obviously you're a big MXGP guy,
Mm.
and
Even
yeah,
four-wheel racing, I'm getting into. Like
yeah.
NASCAR, I have a reason to follow NASCAR now with Shane Van Gisbergen.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Got the IndyCar with Scott Dixon, Scott McLaughlin,
Is
Chris
Dixon a
Power, and
Kiwi?
Marcus Archer.
Is
Dixon's a
Dixon a
Kiwi,
Kiwi?
yep. Yep.
Yeah.
And a young fella in there,
Kiwi
Marcus
drivers,
Armstrong.
man. Kiwi drivers, man. It's fucking unbelievable how many good drivers come out of that country.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. Pound for pound, best drivers in the world as far as four-wheel stuff. Like, if you ran the stats, fucking unbelievable how good Kiwi drivers are, man.
Mm. Even Brendan Hartley in World Endurance Championships, doing well there. Liam Lawson on the verge of F1. Like,
A lot of
and
people
then,
wouldn't. A lot of people wouldn't even know that Bruce McLaren, who of McLaren, was a Kiwi. Yep.
it's not even
There you
talked about
go.
that much. Not even that well known here.
There's
Like,
a
they
there's
just
a
assume he's a
little
pom.
there's a little bit of trivia for listeners that I know a lot of people love F1 nowadays. I think modern F1 is shit. I liked it when I was a kid. I think it was cool back then. The last F1 I watched Melbourne about 3 or 4 years ago. No, it's longer
Live
than
or on the TV.
yeah, just on the TV. I've never been.
Yeah. I don't
The
ever normally watch
yeah,
full races. I'll just watch highlight packages.
yeah. No, I wouldn't go to Albert Park, man. Like, mostly because that part of Melbourne is the biggest son of a bitch place in the state, right? For a start, I hate Albert Park, Port Melbourne, South Melbourne, all that part of the world. It's an absolute fucking pain in the ass to get in and out of.
Good fun on electric scooters.
Because it's sort of, anyway, without going into Melbourne traffic and getting your way around Melbourne, it's a prick of a joint. And
I bet.
And then, so to go to an event there, I'd have to really, really love it. Like, they cut a motocross track in around there. They do like what they do a motocross of nations there, and they knock up a track like they did at what did the Netherlands,
Assen.
like they did at Assen, and do that at Albert Park. I'll go to that. I'll go to that.
Well, they're meant to do a similar thing to that in Finland 2 years ago at the Kimi Ring, but that project lost all its funds and the road track never got finished, so motocross never happened there. I mean, they've had NXGP with like Losail and the Qatar. That was like on the infield of the F1/MotoGP track there. They had one at a track in Germany in 2013. I forget the name of it, but it's happened before, definitely. My dad raced a Supercross years ago in conjunction with V8s when they did street circuit in Wellington.
Oh yeah. Cool, man. I love it. Yeah, things like that are cool, man. When they just sort of pop one up in an outdoor area and that sort of thing is probably something that never really happens in America, I guess, because you get because they got every college has got a kick-ass stadium and that sort of thing. Whereas there's a lot of parts in a lot of other countries, there's nothing like that. You got soccer grounds, rugby grounds, AFL grounds. They got like one grandstand, that sort of thing. There's not. It's very, very open. I guess it's a little bit like our Newcastle Supercross, isn't it? It's got that.
Did they have a Bathurst Supercross a few years ago?
Geez, I don't know, man.
I'm sure they did, like early to mid 2010s. I feel like there was. I've seen Bathurst and results for Aussie Supercross.
Yeah, they probably would have ran it at the rugby ground there. There's a pretty big complex there, sort of the other side of town from where Mount Panorama is. Other side of town.
Okay.
There's a couple of rugby fields there and that sort of thing where their team and that plays there. I saw Cold Chisel there. That's why I know the area. So I saw Cold Chisel there many years ago. Best concert I've ever been to, man. So
okay,
it was fucking excellent. Yeah. Cool, man. Cool. What are we thinking for the let's grab these points, man. What are we thinking? With things coming up, man. So we've already talked a bit about East-West shootouts. What we think there. Jets got this, failing unless he is more injured than we've been led on, you never know, or catastrophe. I know the points have closed up, man, but there's only so many times he can have just all this bad luck and shit going
Oh
on.
no!
You know,
What?
I think
just
this is as close as it gets.
Mm.
Myself, but and I hope I'm wrong. I hope Coop wins the next two, and then it's like, fuck, this is, it's like, whoa.
Mm.
But I mean, it's really, 8 points for Coop. Chase's 20 out. That's just, it's way too far. I mean,
Although he was further out this
I
point
know,
last year.
I know. Yeah, that's it. That's, Lightning could strike again with the leaders, the two leaders going out in successive fucking weeks like last year.
And Kenny just wins
crazy.
out and wins the title somehow.
Yes. But yeah, man. Does Eli win another race? I think he does now.
I don't want him to.
No,
I
why
don't.
not?
Well, get this. Carmichael's last Supercross win, St. Louis. Stewart's last win, St. Louis 2014. It would fit in there perfectly with St. Louis history.
I get that, man, but on the history thing,
McGrath loses 97 in St. Louis with a flat tire.
man, I want Eli to win in Denver. If that's his last one. I mean, I hope he comes back next year. I do. Who knows? Really, who knows? Nothing would surprise me. But if this is the end, I want him to win in Denver, where it went to shit last year, and it's his home race or home state. Cortez is a long way from Denver, but
yeah,
home
I
state,
suppose I can get behind that.
That's a good story.
Denver.
That'd be cool. And that sort of thing. But yeah, hopefully, I hope Coop proves me wrong and fights. Yeah, I want the last round, close points. Anything can happen. Yeah, I want the story, man. So, yeah,
I want a Sexton win before the end of the year.
Yeah, and that could happen too. Like it
almost happened.
It gets harder and harder, but yeah,
obviously, the world would want Kenny to win out, but it's so much voodoo weird shits happened this year with Kenny.
Yeah,
like even just down to punching a hole in the radiator last round. Like, how often does that happen?
Yeah,
like
Phil's radiator hose coming off.
Like,
have you ever heard of that? Ever? Have you ever heard of a fucking radiator hose coming off mid race? Ever in like any motorcycle racing at all? Like ever in the history of ever? I've never heard of that.
Radiator hose in general.
If you forget to tighten one up, the fucker blows off real quick. Like, there's a
lot of pressure in there.
They don't fucking just stick there loose.
I've seen them like radiators get tweaked and the pipe or whatever, the engine burns a hole into the hose.
In a hole into the hose, or the outlet off the bottom tank get like smashed off and bent. There's like things like that.
Yeah.
But just the clamp coming off the neck, like, just fucking doesn't happen. So
no.
I don't know. The only one I could think of is you would have over tightened clamps before and sort of, they don't strip like a bolt, but they sort of strip like a bolt. You know what I mean?
They don't actually tighten up as tight they should anymore.
They tighten up, but they don't tighten quite as good, and they're sort of weakened and probably could vibrate looser. Maybe that's the only thing I could think of.
But I don't see those vibrating loose enough to the point where they'd fall off.
Yeah. Oh, you just start to leak and squirt a bit, but not just come off and just lose everything. But yeah.
I think Phil put it down to his contact with RJ.
With RJ, yeah, he did say that. He saw that. He said that on Pulp. Yeah, that was the same side of the bike where RJ hit him in that. So you never know. Like fork lug hits it in the perfect spot to break it. Or something. I don't know.
Or he
Strange one,
falls
man.
onto a peg slightly in the wrong spot. Many different scenarios. But
It's
how was it saying that his bike seized on the triple?
Yeah. And I'd have to go back and watch how that worked out, even if we have footage of it. I don't know if we have footage, but like
That just makes me think of Wageman at
he's
the
lucky that
pulp
he only
race a few years ago.
he's lucky that he only cased it, man, because that a lot of the time that's like ejecto ceto fucking
like
carnage.
Wageman at the pulp race in Denver 2 years ago, whatever,
Like
where Lou locked midair and he had to step through the bars.
You're stepping through the bars and kissing your ass goodbye. Yeah, like that's And then so 250s, man. How's that going to play out? We've already talked about. I think we both agree, man, that the West, Levi's going to win the West. Barring major misfortune. The East is the spicy one, man. The East is the spicy one.
I'm praying that Anstey turns it around somewhat and gets near a podium at least, because first round was good, and then it's just been a shit show.
Red plate.
Oh,
it's been awful, hasn't it? Yeah. I don't know, man. Like it's Pierce Brown's in the mix. How about that? You wouldn't have, would you if I hadn't looked up the points and wrote them down here for the show, I wouldn't have even thought to mention him,
And who would have picked Pierce Brown as Mr. Consistent? What's been like
it's true.
5, 5, 5, 4, 4, 4.
It's actually been a fucking great season for him, really, hasn't it? When you think about it.
It's like a good building year.
He's the sort of guy that could win the fucking East-West just out of nowhere.
He could do with a good start, for sure.
Yeah, just pop up and win it. Because, East-West, you get funny stuff, man, because people they're more focused on the guys in the points battle are focused on their coast, So, they're not too they're not too worried if someone beats them from the other coast, when they're in a points battle. So, and then Deegs is a fair way back. That I could see him still like winning several races, and that sort of thing. But he's probably just too far back. But yeah, Tom and Cam. So yeah, I think you got to go with Cam mostly just because of the whoops. If we had some more of these tracks with easy whoops, then Tom looked fucking good. So I don't know, or am I being too hard on him? About the whoops? I bet he's been practicing. I'm like, fuck. So
I don't think the whoops you can point it as big a factor. The fact that there's 9 of them.
Yeah,
like Villeman said in Pulp that one time. If they had 9 whoops when Marv was in his prime, like
Marv would have
game
been
over.
Unbelievable, yeah.
The next John Michelle Bale, maybe.
Yeah. That said, though, I want Cam to win. I want Pro Circuit with two number 1 plates. I love that. Love that story. Like, I love Pro Circuit. I love Cowies. I love Pro Circuit. I love the team. I got a mate that works for the team. So I'm invested. I feel so bad that they've just fucking hell, man. Mitch, the bad luck that guy's had, and the injuries and the problems that team's had.
Even this year though, with like Faulkner and Volans,
fucking so bad, man. And so that's such a great story for them. I want to see that, Even though I've got a Yamaha now, I've still got a couple of cows in the shed.
Yeah.
And I love everything about Pro Circuit, the brand, the history, everything, man. So,
I can't even think back to the last time Mitch won both titles. You'd have to go to
both
mid-2000s.
Because it's Justin Hill What year was that?
Like 17.
17, was it? Yeah, about then. Yeah, and then so for two, man, it's I'd have to look it up.
Yeah.
It's hard to even think about it, but you're going to be going back a long way, I reckon.
Yeah. Weimar won in 10. I can't think of who else won in 10. It has to be pre-2011 though.
Yeah.
Because 11 to 13 there was at least a Honda or a KTM. Yeah, 14 was Ando. 15.
Who was on the other coast for Stu?
And 125s?
50F.
Let me pull this up. I need to know this.
Yeah, we need to know now. So look
I need to know. I need to know.
It's the interesting one. Yeah.
It'll have to be mid-2000s, possibly Townley and Villapoto.
Oh yeah, could be. Yeah.
Let me get it.
Yeah.
That's my guess. Townley, Villapoto.
Yeah, that sounds doable, man. Yeah.
Let's see. Great radio.
It's all good, man. It's all good. It's an interesting little statistic, man.
Here we go. Oh no, that's wins.
While you're looking up that, man, I'll talk about. I'm heading to Horsham for round 2 of the Aussie Nationals this weekend. So,
that's gonna be good.
That should be a bit of fun. Yeah. Yep.
What's that venue like?
It's only 2.25 drive, 2.25 hours drive.
Okay.
So she's real easy. That's nothing, and it just is a cross country drive, so just across the Mallee and into the Wimmera, and easy drive, and so just I think the kids coming with me. We'll just get up early Sunday morning and go, that sort of thing. So makes it a cheap one too, no accommodation and all that sort of thing. So that should be a bit of fun.
Sweet. I've got it here.
You got it, man?
My first guess was right, 2010.
Yep.
Weimar and Purcell.
Ah, righto. Yeah. Cool.
And then before that was Townley and Villapoto in 07.
Yep.
Then you had Tedesco and Langston 5. Tedesco. I guess you can't count Tedesco and Stewart because Stewart was Chevy trucks rather than Mitch's team.
Oh, of course he was. Yeah, too. He was. Yep. Yeah, cool.
And that's pretty much the only ones I can recognize.
Once
it gets 90s, 125s, my knowledge gets a bit shaky around there. There's all sorts of weird and wonderful teams back then.
There was definitely a peak Honda one there for Pro Circuit. Yeah, that's I can.
There's a few Yamaha of Troy ones in there as well.
MC and Swink would have been Mitch's first one of those. Cool, man. Cool. You got anything else on the old for the review, man? What else you got? What have I missed? You've always got a couple of things.
Was the 30-second board checked before in the last show?
Oh, let me think.
What race was that?
Which one was that?
I feel like it was after Daytona.
It was Birmingham. It was
Birmingham
because she said "Sweet Home Alabama" on the interview that someone who got
Dirt
that
Shark.
interview? Dirt Shark. Yeah, someone got the interview and she said "Sweet Home Alabama" and she was just like no fucks given about the whole thing, really, wasn't she? And yeah, man. Fucking hell. Yeah, I forgot that. Yeah. That was crazy, man. Crazy, you know. I mean, there's not much you can say other than like it was a monumental fuck up on someone's part, you know, like whether that was I doubt it was hers, really. You know, you'd think that there'd be people giving direction, I guess.
I'm sure she had an earpiece or something and
Yeah, but somebody
kind of
didn't
lift or turn.
didn't give her the right direction on the timing and what was going on there. So, but really, man, like it's funny because she didn't get hurt, so it's funny.
Mm.
But fuck, it could have been bad, man.
Like I can't ever
It could
think
have
of
been
some
bad.
the 30-second chick got hit. I can think of countless
No,
time photographers or marshals got cleaned out.
photographers, particularly, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember seeing there's been particularly like especially like outdoor stuff, you know, old days outdoor stuff where like she's fucking running, man. Like she's got it, you know, they've cut it fine at times with where they've been standing and that sort of thing in the old days, and they're just like, you know, they'll be running across ruts and they're fucking going for it to get out of the way, and it's been a bit too close. But no, that was pretty crazy, man. What else have I forgotten? I reckon that's about it.
Basically it. I suppose there's a few silly seamers and rumors that have popped up as well.
They're all too early, though, man, aren't they? Like
Yeah.
they're
I'm looking
all too
more
early. The
further.
only one that's real interesting is probably still Prado because I think there's enough spoken about Prado to Cowie that it's got to have some wheels. Everything
I've been
else,
thinking kitchen path into 450s.
yeah,
Like Anderson's got next year at Cowie.
yeah,
And if Levi wins, that's his defense year.
yeah.
I can't see him resigning.
No,
It works out good for kitchen.
Anderson goes to Triumph, I reckon. Triumph 450.
He said he'd like to do a year in Europe, like a Villapoto farewell tour.
Yeah,
I'm
not sure about that though. I'm not sure.
No, if World Supercross takes off, I can see that for sure.
Yeah,
because it fits his thing of world travel.
That's another.
That's
a whole nother fucking story. That's
a
world Supercross, man.
That's a big if.
Man, yeah. We'll leave that one alone. Yeah. Cool, man.
Do you think Christian Craig is around next year?
Do I think he's around? Yeah.
I could.
Yeah. I can see him. I can see him going around on like a Club NX bike or a Phoenix bike, something like that.
If I wrote the script for the sport in a perfect world,
yeah,
in my dreams, Craig to firepower and replace Dino. I feel like that could be a good thing for him. Do a year or two there to sort of end it out.
Yeah,
because he's done so well 450 Honda wise, or just Japanese bikes in general.
Yeah, I'd if I was him, I'd try and get on to club. I reckon. He was fucking so good on the Yamaha 250, man, and the bikes are pretty similar nowadays. You know, I mean, I know they're not similar, but like they share similarities that you didn't have in the old days. Now, you know, like I think he just fits that Yamaha good. And there's not going to be an opening at Star, and he hasn't.
I don't think he'd go back.
He hasn't showed the results to get back to Star, but I could see him. Yeah,
he was good on the 450 outdoors for Star. He did partner.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. And I'd like Hampshire to bite the bullet and take that spot.
Yep. Yeah. He should.
Mm.
He should. It's funny, man. That's fucking terrible year that the Husky team's had, hasn't it? Fucking terrible. Yeah.
Suzuki's beating them in manufacture points.
Are they really? Are they
And
really?
they're about
Man,
to overtake Gas as well.
manufacture points, man. I don't know if I've ever looked at. I've never looked it up. I've seen it. It pops up
In the
from time to
broadcast,
time in the
yeah.
broadcast, doesn't it? Yeah, yeah.
I just look at Beta versus Triumph. Like
Yeah,
they're just like
funny, isn't it?
it's like 400 points behind. They got this tiny
Yeah,
little
yeah.
battle.
It's funny. Hey, what'd you think of Coop getting the Triple Crown Champion trophy?
I don't think he cares at all.
At
I don't
least he
think
knew
anyone's
what it
ever
was.
cares.
At least he knew what it was. You remember when
Like,
the first
the
time
first
they
year
did it,
Eli got it,
Eli didn't
he's
know
like,
what it was. It's fucking lame. That is fucking lame, man. That's lame. Fuck
to be
that.
fair, I could go without Triple Crowns, really.
Could you? I like it how it is, man.
I get that sort of
I don't love
excitement
them
of. I get the
Yeah.
excitement of the Triple Crown through heat races.
Yeah.
Like Cody Shock winning that heat race was like got me more excited than any Triple Crown race this year.
Yeah. Now, I kind of like it just how it is, man. I like having a few sprinkled in. I reckon that is that's cool. I definitely wouldn't want more than there is.
I suppose it's like NASCAR going to circuits, like actual road race tracks, rather than the ovals. They need to do 2 or 3 a year. It's just
sprinkle
enough
them
to.
in. Yeah. Yeah. The I think they could tweak, and I'm not the man to figure out the answer for this, but I think they could tweak something to make sure the last race always counts. That's the glitch in Triple Crowns, is where the last race can be like the fizzer because someone's can just manage. A guy's gone 1-1 and he just knows he can just be third and win it. And so you can get that sort of last race where the best guys aren't sort of pushing. And that's like the final laps of the night. It should be the crescendo of the spectacle, you know. So, and you get someone just sort of manages it. I don't know how they fix that. There's a
Re-rack them halfway through the main.
million theories out there. I don't know, but yeah, and also too, like why I wouldn't want more of them too, because I really value the warriors of the sport, the warriors of the sport that are at their best at the end of a grueling main event, you know, and it takes away a bit from that with the Triple Crowns because, you know, they're shorter races, and especially the first couple of races, you know, they're sort of shorter, and or particularly the first race, you know, someone can go out there and win that first short race, good start, that sort of thing, and that might be a guy who traditionally might fade a little, you know, and it could have been different in a normal main event. So that's only a little bit of it though. But yeah, basically, I pretty much I'd keep it how it is. I'm not a big guy on changing things. You know, a lot of people are always like, change this, we should change this, should change that. And it makes for stories and it makes for content and makes for interesting discussions. But that's not really usually my go-to. I sort of like the tradition, and it took me a while to get used to Triple Crowns because I like tradition, you know. I was
Yeah.
like, what's this fucking new shit? But they've won me over. It's like, I'm still not sure about fucking start grates, like it takes
Yeah.
me a little while, but I'll get used to it and that sort of thing. So, yeah.
So yeah, I wouldn't even be mad if they dropped 2 rounds and made it back to 15 like it used to be.
Mm.
Because I feel like the last couple, especially if there's a big points lead, it feels like it's just dragging on. And I feel
Probably,
like they could benefit for another weekend off in amongst it as well.
yeah.
A little bit more anticipation.
Especially now that we've got the super motocross and that sort of thing. So you
Also,
there's a
futures.
lot on these riders, man. There's a lot on these riders.
Futures.
Futures, man.
Why do they have to put them out on like the gnarliest track? Like, do they want to end these kids' lives?
I don't know. I love futures, man. I reckon it's I reckon it's good, man. Drew Adams, man. That kid's a fucking boss. Like,
He's like the next coming of Villapoto.
dude,
A ginger and a cowie.
a ginger on a cowie. It's a historically good fucking blend. It's a recipe for fucking victory, man. And so it's like, yeah, that's it. Yeah, even even some of the guys like even like Adam's pretty pale. Couldn't really class him as a ginger, but there's a little bit.
He was when he first came in.
Yeah,
he
when
was
he
way
was a
more
little,
ginger.
when he was a kid, he was pretty ginger, wasn't he? Yeah. Ricky and RV. When Wardy was young, Wardy was a bit ginger. He sort of went more sort of brown, but he's still a little bit of a ginger tinge, and he's Scottish, so he's got that. There's definitely redhead blood in Wardy, So yeah, redheads on cowies, man. It is it's a good thing, man. There's a lot of winning being done on those. That's for sure. Yeah. So he's and he was good, man. Like especially on this one, the one just on the weekend.
Just
there, man. Yeah, he was the he was the class of the field like pretty easily. So
I'm surprised Towers hadn't put one together yet.
Yeah.
So many crashes.
It doesn't mean much, man. Everyone already knows Towers is good, but he's kind of shit the bed with futures, hadn't he? I'm sure the kid's probably real disappointed. It's a shame because, but his team knows he's good. Everyone knows he's good. Like
even Casey Cochran.
Yeah, same with exactly the same. Everyone knows he's fucking good. Like.
Oh, he won the finals last year.
He won it last year, and he was a fucking B rider, So it's, hopefully these kids don't get too heartbroken when they shit the bed in futures races because it's just it's about experience for them, isn't it, man? It's about experience. It's not nice to win, but it's mostly getting the experience. So it's not going to greatly, hugely affect their whole fucking career because they didn't win futures. So, yeah.
Like Landon Gibson on the Husky.
Yeah. He's the
there's Gibson and Gordon. I get the two confused.
Oh, you got me confused now, man. You're thinking of the one that's just turned 15, though. That's the one you're thinking
on
of.
The Husky, yeah.
Yeah, on the Husky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was decent.
Impressive, man. Yeah.
The other one, the Cowie, though, that was leading and faded back, that was getting real hairy near the end. Like, that looked like Morning and Wood in the arms.
Yeah, he was
skying everything.
Yeah.
He's clipping, skying. He looked done.
They do get pretty wild, man. Before we finish the show, man, how's little bro going? He's had some good results, and so Blake's little brother Luke, he's been fucking doing well in the New Zealand Nationals.
Yes, a couple of weeks ago we had the third round, and he managed to strike a podium in a race
on a 252. So how much does he weigh, man? How much? He's pretty young and small still. Yeah, how much does he weigh?
He's not long turned 17, and he's 62 kilos.
racing MX1 against the 450s. He's on a 252 stroke.
Mm-hmm.
And,
So he struck the third in a race.
Got a podium,
He
yeah. So he's
tied
doing
for the
really well.
overall podium.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
the final moto, he comes in the first turn side by side with Harwood. Second turn, he gets nudged off the main line by Jed Beaton. Hit a slick patch, lost the front, dead last. And he come back up the fifth, which timed for the podium, but ran out of time. They're only 20-minute races, so
yeah.
it was
But
still
he's doing well,
though.
man. Yeah. Doing real well.
Full-time working as well. Like,
Yeah,
so
he's
they
a
had the race.
carpenter, He's a carpenter, and he's turning up on a two-stroke and running third to Jed Beaton and Hamish Harwood. So it's pretty fucking good,
So
man.
race on the Saturday. The Friday beforehand, most people there sign on. He worked till 5 o'clock on the wheelbarrow basically all day, moving topsoil. They were doing a landscaping job that day, so he's moving stones. He's moving topsoil. That's all day. No days off for him, unfortunately.
Yep. Better get him over to Futures, man.
We've got little bits. We have a mini Supercross track. We just don't have the land for it.
Yeah.
Where our actual track is, and he's good at timing stuff.
Yeah.
His cornering ability though is what would get him through Supercross. His ability to turn and roll through turns, it's unreal. Like the back section of Harrisville, I timed on a stopwatch because we don't have segments. So for probably just under a quarter of a track, he could match Harwood and Beaton through this one section where there wasn't the deep ruts. Because that's where he was struggling, was the deep ruts in the other half of the track.
Yeah.
Purely because of the pipe. He can't lean it because the pipe.
Because the expansion table. Well, dude, you better tell Dad to fucking sell the house and sell up and fucking move the Maitlands to America and what do you reckon, Mr. Maitland? Get into it.
There's a family of 4 here to look after. That's a very expensive job.
Yeah, no, I know, man. I know. Not everyone could do that sort of thing. But yeah, no, it's good, man. It's good. I hope that he fucking sticks with it, man, because there's a lot of talent there. That's for sure.
And this is just him coming off his busted shoulder around Christmas. Had a bad dislocation, so he's only just come sort of up to a good level where he was beforehand, and he's only riding on a Saturday. And maybe on Wednesday afternoon, like every fortnight, he might do a Wednesday Arvo.
Yeah.
So there's not much bike time, and he's making these massive gains. So there's potential there, but he wants to do that Aratanti route of get a qualification and everything.
Which is smart. It's smart. Yeah.
He's 17. Like
he's got time.
He's got a whole many years ahead.
Yeah. That's right, man. All right, we might end the show on that there, man. So, and then we'll reconvene after round 16 and talk about. Hopefully, we're not talking about champions yet. Hopefully, we're talking about what a banger Salt Lake's going to be then. So, and I'll also talk to you, man. Then I've been helping out Blake. Blake does MXGP reviews in a similar style to this, which I've been helping him out with, which is a steep learning curve for me because I only started really watching this year. So
yeah. And how's that coming along, Steve?
Good, man. Good. Yeah, it's finding time to watch everything. There's too many fucking races, man. That's it. There's fucking too many races, man. With these
the good thing at the moment,
races and everything, dude. Like, yeah. But I get them watched, and I don't get a chance to watch any of them live, but I watch them all back and that sort of thing. And,
well, the good thing lately is there's been a week, seems to be a weekend break between each round, so get plenty of time.
Yeah, no, it's good. I mean, I knew I'd enjoy it. It's just, gradually learning who's who. And, obviously, the front runners, but learning everything else and that sort of thing. And the broadcast's really good and all that sort of thing. We just lost Blake. That's all right. I'll wrap up the show at that. Getting late over in New Zealand. Hopefully, they might turn the power off at a certain time. I'll get that jab in while he's gone. Anyway, thank you very much for listening. And we'll talk after round 16 about the season. And I've got lots of cool guests coming up in the meantime as well. Cheers. Thanks for listening.